Hello, Year 3. This is Miss Cherry again. Today we are going to study a new lesson. We are going to learn how to write a friendly letter. Of course, all of you are staying home, missing your families and friends, and of course, you want to contact them again. But how do you think you can contact them? Maybe you think of a phone call, maybe you can send a message, or you can send an email using internet and social media. But what about the people in the past? Before this technology, people used to send letters using paper. They used to write letters. Do you know that we still do so? Yes, some people still prefer to write letters. Some people still believe that writing with your own handwriting makes a very big difference than writing emails or sending messages. So learning how to write a friendly letter helps you to communicate with your friends also. It is really fun to send letters. And let us know how to have this fun together. Before studying how to write a letter, you have to think, why do people write friendly letters? What is the purpose of writing letters? Writing friendly letters has different reasons. We write them to inform, which means to give information about something, to persuade, to ask questions, to make plans, to answer someone, to thank someone, or to apologize. So again, we can write letters to inform or give information, to persuade, to ask questions, to make plans, to answer someone, to thank someone, or to apologize. All of these reasons that we write friendly letters All of these reasons that we write friendly letters are informal reasons. All of these reasons are not formal, they are informal. That's why we call them friendly letters. All of these reasons are just for fun or for personal reasons. They are informal, they are not formal. Okay? Now let us move to the parts of a friendly letter. What are the parts of a friendly letter? Let us meet this robot. This robot is going to help you to study the parts of a friendly letter. Can you say hi to the robot? Okay, we have 5 parts of a friendly letter. 5 parts of a friendly letter. Let's see them together. These 5 parts are the parts of my robot's body. By looking to this robot, you can see that the first thing we start is the head. You can start with the head. So we have to start our letter with the heading. And the heading must be at the top of your letter, just like the head is at the top of the body. Again, the heading is at the top of the letter as the head is at the top of the body. And in this heading, you will find the return address or the address of the person who is writing the letter. Again, in the heading, you will find the address of the person who is writing the letter. After the heading, there is the greeting. And the greeting should come out of the mouth. Just like when you say hi, hello, good morning. All of these are greetings and they are coming out of your mouth. So the second part after the head is the mouth, And the second part after the heading is the greeting. And this greeting stands by itself followed by a comma. Just like when we say, Dear Peter, dear teacher, dear friend, all of this is the greeting. And remember that we have to use a capital D in dear, and we have to add a comma after my greeting. After this, you will meet the body. The body is in the middle, just like the body of your robot in this picture. And here you can find the information that you want to mention in the letter. It can be in just 1 or 2 paragraphs. Right after the body, you will find the closing and the signature at last. You will find them at the bottom of your robot and at the end of your letter. The closing is a polite way to end your letter. And the signature is your name. Now, let's take a look at a letter and see together these 5 parts. Here, you will find a friendly letter written by Golio to his friend Remy. And now, before you start, you have to remember the 5 parts of writing a letter. Again, the heading. Repeat after me, please. The heading. Yes, the greeting. The body. The closing. And the signature. Again, heading. Greeting. Body. Closing. Signature. Excellent. Can you guess which one is the heading in this picture? Look at the letter. Super! The heading has return address and the date. And the reason we put this here, to make the one who is reading the letter know your address if he wants to write you back or to answer. That's why I write the address here in the heading. The date also tells us when the letter was written. The greeting is the next part of the letter, just after the heading. Simply like hello or hi. The greeting usually uses the word dear, followed by the name and a comma. And make sure to write a capital D in the word dear and a capital letter for the name, and then add your. The next part is the body. Example, the body of the letter here has 2 paragraphs. Notice that these 2 paragraphs here are indented. Remember these indents? Just like when we were writing a paragraph. We have to leave a space before each paragraph. Do you remember? Yes, you are super. After this body, you will find the closing and the signature at the end of the letter together. The closing is not always the same. In this letter here, Golio decided to use the word your best friend with a comma at the end. And then he signed with his name. Sometimes you can use regards or sincerely. It's up to you. And there are a lot of choices. Just remember to make sure that the first letter of your closing is a capital letter. So here you will find the Y in your is capital. The B and F in best friend are not capital. And don't forget to use the comma afterwards. Then sign with your name. Now, after we have done this, I want to speak to you about how can we put all of these parts on one single page. On your copybook, you will find this margin. It is this red line in your copybook. Most of your letter is written after the margin. But the heading, if you noticed, is here away from the margin, very far. It goes on the same line with the closing. Can you see this? Now let me draw a line here so that you can see. Now, let us take a look on another letter so that we can focus together on these parts. This is a new letter. Can you guess the name of the one who wrote the letter? Yes, you are right. It's Peter. Peter is the one who wrote the letter. So Peter wrote this letter to his friend. Yes, excellent, Sylvie. But if you noticed, he wrote this letter on a stationery paper. It's a paper that has no lines, has no margins. And of course, we have to follow the rules in order to write the letter in a correct way. Let's put these normal parts of the letter together and see what are we going to have. Let's see together. So here we have the first part of my letter. What is excellent? I have a heading. And then a greeting with a capital D in the word dear and a capital S in Sylvie and a comma at the end. Now, what are these two paragraphs called? We call them the body of my letter. Super. And you can see the indents here, so that these two paragraphs give me the body, and here we have the closing and the signature. In the closing, we used sincerely in a capital letter, a capital S, and a comma, and then the signature Peter with a capital P. Super. After mentioning these parts, we have to study together the indenting. How can we use the indents? If you remember, I used to tell you that this paper has no margins or lines, and this is a stationery. So how can we write a letter here? We have to make sure that the heading, the closing, and the signature are on the same line. They go on the same line so that they have the same space on the right, and we start from the same point. You can draw an imaginary line to help you like this. Also, you will find that the greeting and most of the body are on the same line except for the start of each paragraph, as I have to leave the space which is called indent. That was our lesson today and how we can write a friendly letter. Thank you for watching. Keep attending our classes, be on time, stay safe, and stay home. Love you to the moon and back. See you tomorrow.